Hey everyone. So now that all my accessories in, I thought I'd make a video about my new camera and really a piece of gear that I'm going to be using moving forward um, on trail and trying to get some different different angles, more usability outdoors with cameras and stuff like that. So this is the new addition to our gear list. This is the GoPro Hero 7. A lot of you have I'm sure seen videos on this or seen a lot of people using these. This is the new version that they had come out with, I believe. Well, now it's last year, but for 2018, the 7 lineup. So what I thought I would do was not necessarily make a video about the differences between this or a comparison between this and the previous generation. Really more for if you're looking at a camera like this, um, what the differences are between the other variations. Now GoPro has come up with some color uh, names for their different types of cameras in the 7 line even. So um, I wanted to cover some specs and some of my first impressions on this guy and let you guys know some of the stuff that I found out too early on when I had gotten it with some accessories and stuff like that. But basically the GoPro 7 Hero Black is the new kind of new version update of their new image stabilization. They've got a built-in image stabilization similar to a camera on your cell phone or smartphone, stuff like that. Even some other just live-action shooting cameras. But they call it Hyper Smooth. It's their update to their um, standard stabilization. But the interesting thing is, and again, there's a lot of videos on YouTube on this. But the interesting thing is that it's not on the 7 silver or white. It kind of goes in line with being an entry point at the white, midpoint 7, and then the black being this one. But I wanted to go over some differences between these three because I think it's important if you're thinking about purchasing this lineup of GoPro. But really, what the differences are, because these are quite expensive compared to the other two models. So, but anyways, yeah, the 7 comes with three lineup series or models, I guess. But only the black comes with their Hyper Smooth. It's a very good update for their image stabilization. They claim it's very gimbal-like, and it is. It's a big upgrade or improvement. I've seen a lot of, like I said, there's a ton of these videos, but a lot of updates on what this does in terms of the action shot, running or on a bicycle or in a vehicle, how much more stable the image comes out. So something to note if you're looking at some comparison or you're using this camera primarily for outdoor use. That was a really big thing for me, so it was worth it to upgrade to that one. But just like all GoPros, very rugged and waterproof. They on this one claim 33 feet or 10 meters. There's different colors, but with each series. But the black comes with, it's almost like a silicone kind of rubber shell. Shockproof is what they claim, and like I said, 33 feet or 10 meters underwater. Now they do have to increase that depth. They do have some accessories, and you don't necessarily have to buy the GoPro versions of this, but this is the Super Suit version. I may do a video on this, at least for what I'm using it for. This is kind of important to me. This gives a little bit more protection. It also has some different viewfinders in the back that can be fully enclosed. This is called the skeleton back, and this opens it up so you can still use the touchscreen on the viewfinder there. But maybe for a later video. But just out of the box, without purchasing something like this, you're looking at about 33 feet. I know that I don't know if I'll be using this feature, but this does have a voice control, up to 16 commands. You can say things like GoPro, take a photo. It can wake on that command if you wanted to kind of open the screen. I'll go through the interface on this a little bit, but you can kind of like asking, Siri something. You can ask it if you want to take a photo or video, stuff like that. Maybe an interesting thing if you're, using it for the holidays and you want to place the camera somewhere or mount it somewhere, and you don't have access necessarily to turn it on or click the record or shoot video feature of it. But I thought that was kind of cool. The other ones as well, the white, silver, and black, they all have Wi-Fi connectivity, but only the black has like live stream capability. So you can live stream this video recording to YouTube or Facebook Live. One of the features about the black, if you happen to be doing a lot of vlogging and stuff like that, that is a difference between the other two, excuse me. This one, like all the versions too, they come with like, an updated camera every series you go up. So the white is only able to shoot 1080p. The silver is able to shoot 4K at 30 frames a second, the black one being able to shoot 4K at 60 frames a second. So a little bit better camera or higher resolution, let alone the refresh rate seems to be pretty smooth. Although this is extremely compact, probably one of the smallest cameras I think I've looked at or seen that can shoot that type of video. The 4K at 30 frames is kind of rough. I'm really glad that there's an option to do 60 frames. I figure that would be in more of the series, let alone the 7 white being only able to shoot in 1080p. So that was really the big deciding factor on getting the black series versus the others. I wanted to use a camera and refresh rate that was more current. So you have to get the black version though to get the 60 frames 4K. However, like I said, the silver will shoot 4K, but just at a lower frame rate, 30 frames. And with that too, the megapixel camera on this one is a 12 megapixel lens. It's a little bit different compared to the 10 megapixel lens that's on the white and the silver. So with that, they've also included some like HDR photo, because these take photos as well, of course. But there's like a HDR lens that can, if you're shooting photo with this guy, you can change it over to that to get a little bit more vibrant colors and different lighting conditions and stuff like that. The other thing that really was a big, and I'm surprised a little bit about this, that the 7 black, this is the case that it comes in. It's kind of like a shell for a little bit of protection, but this is the mounting surface that you'll clip to a lot of it. I'll show this in a minute, but clip to different GoPro accessories. But going back to the battery, this camera, where the silver and white don't have this, the silver and white cameras battery are built in, but on the black, this tray is removable, and you'll see a SIM card here, or micro SD, micro SIM, one of those. The battery's removable only on the black. Now, both the battery that's built into the silver and white come with a 1220 milliamp capacity. That's what all of these are, 1220 milliamp. If you're doing a lot of video that's continuous, or you're not going to be near a charger very often or frequently, it kind of blows my mind. I thought this would be on all the series, but it's not. To get a removable battery, you have to get the black series on these. I thought that was a little bit strange, but totally worth it, because these are, like I have a couple extras here in a charger. These are a little bit hard to, 4K at 30 frames, let's say you have the silver, that's not going to be a long shooting recording time. I was able to get about 30 minutes, a little bit more, plus or minus, depending on, how much use I'm having in it to get through an entire battery. So having some spare backups, I had to buy some, especially going outside using this outdoors. You're not exactly going to be next to a charger of any kind. So unless you bring a, kind of a backup portable battery bank, I wanted to bring this out with, like, let's say 3 batteries charged, so I have enough time to at least shoot an hour or so of video. Thought that was a little strange, but the stuff that I actually was a little bit concerned with when I first got this, and of course this is pretty standard. A lot of cameras use their own like proprietary mounting system, but I have some tripods and some stuff that use like a standard screw set, whatever that threading is on a camera, but GoPros only use their own proprietary mount. You can get like aftermarket accessories and stuff like that, but basically, and just like the Super Suit here uses that same type of like screw in. It's adjustable. You can move it back and forth. It doesn't rotate right to left. Some accessories do, but that was kind of the one thing that I was like, oh, now I need to buy a whole new set of tripods and stuff like that to fit this mounting mechanism. So the way that this works is they've got a, like I said, the screw is set in place to keep this tight. There's a little rubber knob that you would like lift up, and these 2 clips are what secure the mount. So this is what came with the camera on the box, but basically this is the receiving hitch that you'll be using for all different types of, tripods, head mounts, stuff like that. I've got a GoPro head mount that actually screws right into the bottom of the camera. So even if it doesn't have this receiving hitch, you still have to have this type of screw-in locking mechanism that fits on a certain case. So a little bit, just something to note there, but a little bit hard if you've got already a set of gear and stuff like that. So lifting that up, the and that's the rubber clip here is like the locking mechanism. So you'll stick this into the receiving hitch, and it'll clip in. Then you can close that. There we go. You can close that to lock it back up. So looking into the camera, you've got a couple different controls. You do have a like record or shoot photo button, kind of action camera button on the top there, like normal. Then you have a mode selector and the power on. So you click and hold the power on button. This is what kind of impressed me about this camera right off the bat. The interface is really nice. They've almost got like, I want to say, an Apple style or iOS style of like preferences menu. You can easily like kind of shift through, use the swipe mode, very much like an iPhone. If you want to shoot video, scrolling right will shoot video, photo, and then you have like a time-lapse feature as well. The weird thing was, this is, I don't know if you're doing a lot of time, extended time shooting, but if you're looking at the like slow motion recording too, as well as like a lot of outdoor stuff, you can only use this on like an 8x zoom on the black. The other two, silver and white, only come with a 2x slow motion capture quality, so, or capture record ability. So there's not a lot of slow motion capture. It seems like the other two series, the silver and the white, are only designed for like basic photo shooting, stuff like that. You get a little bit more, I don't want to say professional options with the black, but it is there. So it's a little bit of a step down for the slow motion recording, but it's just something to note if you're looking between the two. So basically on here, there's a basic viewfinder when you turn it on. If you click the button on the top, obviously from just the home screen here, you'll get that camera recording right away. And this will be on like a time-lapse version, but it'll save it once you re-click it back. Taking photo and video are the same way. Basic home screen kind of for the video recording one. Click the button and you're rolling. And then it saves to the SD card. The options and settings are pretty easy on the fly. So on the, like let's say we're on the video screen here, right on the bottom you'll see some options for your video settings. You can change to 4K, 60 frames, 1080p, 720, 2K. All that stuff's pretty accessible in terms of your like field of view as well. So it's all there. It's all touchscreen. If you're used to anything iOS or well, pretty much any smartphone at this point, this won't be anything uncomfortable, or there's no real learning curve to use here. But you can see all the important stuff right off the bat. Like they've got a amount of recording time on my top left for how much memory I have left. On the top right, on the top right, you'll see my battery life, that sort of thing. Scrolling from the bottom down, you can get all of your media that you've just previously shot. Going back to the home screen, scrolling down will give you your preferences, your basic connections, how much voice control you want to have accessible or off, touch display, whether you want that annoying beep to stay on or be low, and your brightness, stuff like that. So a lot of options, pretty easy to set up. There's also a GoPro app that comes with it that you can kind of like connect to this device when you're looking at your viewfinder. It'll show you a live update of the screen, what you're shooting, what your viewfinder looks like if you don't necessarily want to use the viewfinder. You want to use your phone. Like I said, if you're mounting it on something that's out of reach or something that's a little bit hard to touch, instead of hit play, you can do it from your phone. So kind of a nice feature there. I know they're both on iOS and Android, but I found that super easy to use, especially like if I've got this thing mounted up really high and there's nothing to press and I want to get myself in the shot. So they're pretty similar. These cameras have been around, and there's always revisions to them, but this happens to be, at least for a modern video recording resolution and frame rate, this one's perfect. There's a little bit of, like I said, features with the black that, like I stated earlier, that you won't find with the other versions, but overall, this thing does a great job of being super portable. And I wanted to show this here real quick. You also have this LCD in the front, but being super portable and very easy to just point and shoot, especially if you're outside or you don't have necessarily a ton of equipment to use. This is kind of an all-in-one package. If you do happen to mount this like on a piece of headgear, or you've got, this happens to be for a backpack clip for your strap to mount somewhere on a backpack, but if you have something like that, You do have a front-facing LCD that you can kind of point and see your memory. This happens to be on photo here, so you can see how many photos I have left, for how much storage is left, and the battery life, and what settings I'm on for the camera itself. So a little bit of versatility, whether you're looking at the viewfinder from behind the camera or in front, you do have that option, as well as the app. So they really do a good job of making this really, really easy to use, depending on, because as an action shot type of movement camera, you want to be able to use it in all different types of conditions. So if you happen to be doing any type of that type of photo, video, stuff like that, these are at least on the surface, they come with a lot of different kind of features, specs that you can use that are pretty bulletproof. I'm going to be using this camera moving forward, shooting a lot of my videos, so I will, after this one gets posted up, I'm going to be going to this so you guys can see some of the quality it changes and what they look like compared to, let's say, I'm shooting this one right now on an iPhone 10. So if you guys want, I'm going to do some video probably on the accessories, just to get a little bit in depth on which ones I found useful. I don't want to say it's really not worth purchasing, but it seems that if you're using this the way this camera's intended, these kind of cases are a little crucial. I know that a lot of these pieces are like replaceable as well, so if you happen to like drop this thing outside, you can actually replace the lens cap here. They have parts on their website you can replace it with if it happens to crack. You actually have to remove that to put it into this case here, but they have some of those like backups you can, if you happen to be using this the way it's intended. It seems like that's really the intent, is to protect it as much as possible, but in that event you can replace them. Everything on this camera is like removable and detachable, outside of it being already pretty rugged. So thought I would share with you guys, if there's any other like specs or anything you want me to kind of review. I didn't want to go through the stabilization back to back because there's so many videos on it, but just at least someone who didn't have a GoPro looking into, trying to replace my gear, some of the issues with this mounting device, I thought would be worth noting if you guys are on the fence about one, going to a GoPro, or happen to be looking at the 7 black compared to the other colors for this season. So thanks guys for watching. I'm gonna, like I said, be shooting this moving forward, so let me know if there's anything else you want me to show in terms of my usability with it. Thank you.